Today's episode of TNC Movie Nights is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way to monetize your podcast. They help by giving podcasters just like us a flat rate for ad space, so you always know what you're going to get when you have an ad presented by Podgo. You can apply today and be immediately connected to advertisers that will fit your audience. Just go to podgo.co, that's Podgo.co, and when you go there, there's a little box that says, "How did you hear about Podgo?" Make sure you let them know the movie night sent you.
This is TNC Movie Nights. We have a very special episode today. I've been talking about it for quite some time in our group chats, but we are going over video game movies. And the reason why, because as everyone knows that listens to anything that Adam and I do, Pokémon 25th anniversary is going on this month. And to celebrate it, this week we're doing a little Pokémon / video games, and it's going to be a great time. But, of course, we have Alex today with us, as always. How you doing, Alex?
Man, a little tired after today. We ripped up the entire floor of the van. I sent you guys a picture. That was rough, but making progress, so I'm happy with it. How about you, man?
That's super exciting. I'm doing well. Adam and I got off work a little early today. Got that double time and a half pay today, so you're not going to complain. I know.
Good. Feels
good. Yeah, it's awesome. And then, of course, we do have some guests on the show today as well. We have Mike. You can't see his face right now. A little under the weather, but we're just loving that he's here today to hang out with us, talk some video game movies. And, of course, we got Adam in the top corner up there as well. But, you know, he likes Pokemon a little bit, as you can see around him, and tattooed on his body.
I actually hate Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, I hate Pokemon. I'd show you my calf, but that's going to be too awkward. So there's a tattoo there. I'm not just trying to show you a blank calf.
But yes, we're super excited. We have a little full house for us today. And we're going to kind of do a general show today. It's not going to be very list heavy. We'll talk about some movies we enjoy. Funny enough, we do have a Rotten Tomatoes list for the top 43 video game movies we're going to kind of break down a little bit. But little favorite movies, least favorite movies, underrated, overrated, all that kind of stuff today. So it'll be a lot of fun. So we'll go ahead and just start it off by diving into this 43 video game movies ranked. So, I just, you know what, I want to start it with this movie because I was very surprised on how much I enjoyed it. And this is, I think, the most recent video game movie. Sonic the Hedgehog. Did any of you guys see it?
Yes.
I did not.
I went into this movie...
it's better that way.
It's funny, I went into this movie thinking it was going to be one of the worst video game movies I have ever seen. And I was delighted that it wasn't garbage. It was alright. It wasn't by any means a masterpiece, but it's third on this list, which is a little crazy. But it's not god-awful. Jim Carrey is a little much in it, but he's a little much in everything. And
it's Jim Carrey.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that the internet was able to bully the studio into making Sonic look incredible. Honestly, Sonic looked fantastic in this movie. But I just want to kind of throw it out there. So if you guys have seen Sonic and you're like, Sonic was okay, it's third in all video game movies, apparently, just to kind of give you an example.
And it's the last one on the list that's not technically rotten, according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
There's 40 on this list that all have that green splatter. So, I mean, not exactly like a super high bar that we're setting for video games movies.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of start it off mentioning that movie just for the fact that it's on the list that high, and it's no means a great movie, so I thought it was kind of funny to start. But Adam, is there a movie on this list that you see and you're like, you know, I'm happy, I'm upset, you know, that deserves to be there, or why is this so low?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could do one for happy and upset. So for happy,
go ahead.
Pokemon Detective Pikachu 2019 is number 2 on the list. Belongs at number 1, but I am happy it at least made 2. The movie was just so well done. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's a masterpiece. Now, talking about a movie that I'm upset about and why it's so low, we're going to stick with Pokemon. Why in the world is Pokemon the first movie from 1999 ranked at number 32. You're telling me that all those kids that cried when they thought Ash was dead, you're telling me they all believed this was number 32? And that it was a 16%? No, they cried because it was good. It hit their emotions. It is a good movie. Make this top 5.
He's very passionate about it, it seems.
Ingy.
I am shocked at how low this one is. I do remember seeing that movie, and that is one of the most like tear-jerking moments I remember in any sort of animated films, TV, anything in the sense. And I'm shocked that it's a 16%, let alone 32 out of 43 video game movies for Rotten Tomato scores. I appreciate that, though. I really do appreciate that being on here, and I'm glad you're able to tie those together with Pokemon. Because Detective Pikachu, I just finally watched it 2 weeks ago. I am blown away it took me that long. And oh my goodness, it's probably one of my favorite movies I've seen over the last year or two. That's just how good it is. It's such a fun movie. You can pick it apart. There are some issues in it. There are a lot of issues with video game movies because they try too hard to stick to the fan service of it, where they could kind of just stick away a little bit and just make a great movie. So yeah, I appreciate those on there. Mike, just to kind of start off, if you're not looking at the list itself, but what are some video game movies you really enjoy, you maybe dislike, or do you just remember that you just hated when you first saw it?
Okay, first one I can remember seeing was the Doom movie. I think it was like 2002, 2003. The one with the Rush.
Wow.
Okay.
I just remember being however old I was, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Then like a couple years later, I went back and watched it. I'm like, wow, this is awful.
I'll agree. It's terrible.
It's like, I think it was just one of those movies where it was just like, okay, it's based off a video game. There's not a whole lot we can actually do with this. So let's just make it gory. Let's put The Rock. Everyone loves The Rock. And just throw stuff at it and see where it lands. My personal favorite movie, video game adaptation, I guess you could say, it's called Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. And what it is, it basically, if any of you have played Final Fantasy VII, it takes place after the events of that game. And it kind of brings back fan service people, a couple of new people, and it's all around a really, really good movie.
I gotta find this on here. I see one of the Final Fantasies. Is this not on the list for some reason?
I don't. There's
It's
one.
not. Wow.
I didn't see it on there.
Yeah, it's not a really well-known one, I think. There's one called Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. That one is just atrocious.
That one is on the list, and that one's like the 9th best video game movie ever, apparently, on here. It was number 7. It's number 7, and for you to say it's that bad, I totally believe you, since you're such a diehard like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. So
right, and it's just, it wasn't my kind of movie for that certain Final Fantasy movie, because my favorite is Final Fantasy VII. So I think I'm just a little too what's the word?
In your roots.
Yeah, that one. Thank you. But yeah, it's just not the best one in my opinion.
No, hey, totally fair. Solid choices. I appreciate the ones you brought up. Alex, where'd you have to go?
That's a good question. Well, I think, we've been giving them love, but I think Sonic and Detective Pikachu are both like really, really good, really fun movies. They're not perfect, but they're not supposed to be. They're video game movies. They're meant for like kids / people who were kids, and then when they played these games, it's like kind of for us, kind of for the next generation of people who are, getting into that stuff now. But they really both did a really, really, really good job. And I think, and I'm hoping, that this could be a mild renaissance for video game movies, because it seems like every few years or so they throw one piece of hot garbage out there and everyone hates it and everyone hates on it, and then there's like a small cult following that's like, no, it's amazing. But that's just what video games are. So I'm hoping, like, with with those two, and then it's not technically based on a game, but like Free Guy coming out, I'm hoping that this can be sort of like a turning point for video game movies, and then instead of just having a piece of crap come out every 4 or 5 years, you know, we don't need to make this like Marvel or anything where you get like 8 movies a year, but it'll be nice to see movies that don't suck.
Yeah.
So I want to give them a shout out. Also, one that I really like that's not, again, it's kind of like in that Free Guy where it's not technically based on a specific game, but it's definitely a video game movie, is Ready Player One.
Yeah.
That was a really good movie.
Yeah,
And,
I agree 100% with that.
And so I think that that one deserves some love too, but I'm looking at this list and I am shocked, completely shocked at how much love they gave Super Mario Bros. The movie. It's like 17 on this list. It's higher than all of the Pokemons. It's higher than all of the Tomb Raiders.
That's dirty.
It's higher than like a lot of the movies that are crap but watchable. But yeah, that movie. I mean, when one of the lead actors, and we joked about this just before we started recording, when one of the lead actors describes being a star in that movie as the worst decision of their career, maybe we don't use that as our bar for video game movies. But then again, it is set really, really low. So, who knows? But, yeah, man, that's just ridiculous to me. What about you, bud?
No, yeah, I really do love everything you guys have mentioned. And one I want to bring up, I want to say it was Adam who brought it up before we started talking for the show today. That's Assassin's Creed. That movie I was so excited for because growing up, I grew up on Assassin's Creed. That was one of my favorite story games, one of the very few story games that I really enjoyed. And I played them all. I made sure I was on every single Assassin's Creed when it came out until I finally kind of fell off after the movie, I'd probably say. And they just tried too hard to make it like the video game. And we'll probably just segue from this on how movie companies try too hard to be like, this is from the video game. Remember that? It's in the video game sort of thing. Assassin's Creed could have just been, here is the story about, Adam, what's the name of the character? Starts with an E, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't it
Ezio. Ezio.
Thank you.
Yeah. Auditore.
Yeah. It could have just been about the story of Ezio on the life, and it was just taking the core lore of the game. You didn't have to give me Michael Fassbender strung onto a robot, and then for like 5 to 10% of the movie in combat scenes is him just strapped to the robot, punching nothing, and then it kind of zooming right back into like the real combat. I didn't need to see that. You didn't have to do the whole Animus thing, or if anything, do the Animus thing, but do it right in the beginning when he gets locked in, and then he's out. Like he's just in the movie the whole time, and then at the end of the movie, he comes out of it and it's like, oh my, like that's crazy how we just found all this stuff out and this and that. Whatever they want to do with it, you don't need to keep showing us he's in the Animus. We didn't need that, and that was so dumb. So it's stuff like that when companies, when they get a movie and then like, we need to make it like exactly like the game. You don't need to do that. Just give us the lore. That is all we're asking. The Warcraft movie, it's not great. The Warcraft audience did enjoy it a bit at least, but at no point did you see a kid like on his computer playing the game. Like, we don't need that. Like, that would have been hilarious, but we don't need something like that.
Like that piece of crap gamer movie where they keep jumping back to just like someone sitting in a chair.
I love that movie. Oh my gosh, it's so bad but so much fun. Have you guys ever seen the movie Gamer with Gerard Butler?
Yeah,
Gerard, I love Gamer, dude.
Same. Oh my gosh,
so much.
It's not a great movie,
conceptually, but none of it worked. Nothing was done well, except like if you strip all of the details away, and you give like the elevator pitch, you're like, oh, that sounds super rad, and then you watch it, and you're like, Jesus, man, this ain't even a movie.
It was like too much going on. First, you have Gerard Butler, this gritty like battle zone setting, and then you have the kid who's controlling him, and he's just chilling in his room, la-di-da. and then it goes to one part where it's just he's trying to find someone, and like there's so many colors and they're bright, almost like neon, and the music was just so bizarre.
They tried,
and
they tried way too hard to make it way too raunchy too, because
I know.
you just didn't need it. Like cutting to, you see like the hot girl in the game, and they cut away, and it's like way beyond anything anyone needed to see. It's like a gross dude who's like not gross because he's gross. It's gross because yeah, it's like I get it, man. I get you're trying to be like, oh, see, sometimes the gross guys are the hot chick, but it's like he's just covered in food and he's like wet and he's like shirtless, and there's nothing wrong that it's like it's not that he looked like that. It's just like the movie's beating you over the head with like, get it? Do you get it? And you're like, oh my god. But that's not what this episode's about. I just wanted to bring that up for a second. Sorry to cut you off, Mike.
No, it's all good. I was just gonna go pretty much into where I don't think people, like the people who've made these movies, I don't really think they take it seriously enough to actually make a good movie. I think they just kind of get the basis of like, okay, it's a game, it's about this, this, and this. All right, let's see what we can do. I don't think they, try all that much. I think Sonic and Detective Pikachu are like great. Is a great foundation. Like, okay, people actually like it if we put, some thought into this. But if you look at Gamer and the god awful Mario movie, it just ends awfully for everyone.
So
you don't need to try that hard.
I was gonna ask, at what point do you think it's good when companies making a video game movie will kind of reference things that are actually in the game? Just kind of for some examples, like in, I want to say Gamer, you'd kind of see like a HUD at times for like the character. I'm trying to think of good examples, like
Ready Player One is full of them.
Yeah.
Like sort of fan servicey moments.
Yes.
And I think the cutoff is when they start making drastic changes to the plot. Like when fan service moments end up being plot critical, that's when you've kind of crossed the line. If part of the plot is about the game, like that's totally fine. Obviously, the plot is going to be about the video game. But it's those fan servicey moments that are just like, hey, this is for you if you played. You're like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But as soon as that becomes mission critical, like, we bashed this movie, rightfully so, but how Wonder Woman 84 ended, and you had, like, the original Wonder Woman, and she was, like, the person you were always talking about. It's a super cool fan service moment where you're like, oh my god, having the original Wonder Woman play this, and you're like, oh, that's so cool. If you grew up watching the show, or if you were a big fan, whatever, you get that moment where it's like, they're talking to me for this, because they did this for me. But it had nothing to do with the plot, other than, like, story-wise. She didn't drastically change something. But when you have a movie, like you were just talking about with Assassin's Creed, like, hey, for the fans who know this game, we know that, he's in this little HUD thing, and then he's going back, and it's all this, but then it ends up being critical for the plot, and you're like, oh, this is just stupid now.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of different things that are ruined by the movie companies trying to do it right for the gamers, the core people that want to see this, and I can appreciate it. None of that is coming from a place of malice. By showing those little things, it's just you're doing too much of it. So I think we've seen a really good job of it with the more recent video game movies. They haven't had two fan servicey moments. Like, I mean, I think Sonic, like when he's on his normal world, like I think getting the coins and stuff at one point, it's cute. Like, it's a cute little nod. But like throughout the whole movie, you didn't have him running taking coins like the whole movie. Right. Like, you don't need stuff like that. So hopefully,
like a chili dog joke too, stuff like that.
Yeah, and little things like that are really good. It's nice to see. So I feel like that's one of the big things about what makes video game movies kind of poor at times, is they try to be too much like the video game, when you can just take the lore and make it into a movie. And I guess I'll move this over to another part of this. Something I would love to see is there's a lot of talks of many different video game movies in the works right now. Stuff like Fallout, Halo, Half-Life, Gears of War, Five Nights at Freddy's, games like that. I'm cool with you making a movie about those games. However, you don't need to give me a Halo movie where we see Master Chief go through the same things that are in the video game. You know, have him fight the oh my goodness, Adam or any of you, I might need a little help on the name, like the Brutes, and it's been so.
Covenant.
Thank you, the Covenant. Have us see him fight the Covenant and the Flood and those other groups. You don't need to have us like go through the actual missions in the game. Just give us Master Chief, give us the enemies, make your own story. That's all you got to do. You don't have to like rewrite the video game in movie form. You know, Fallout. It's very simple, I think, for Fallout. Just make a post-apocalyptic movie, but bring in the NCR, the Brotherhood, all these different people that you know from the game. That's it. So, fingers crossed that upcoming games will be able to do that. Right now, the big video game in talks that is actually getting a lot of movement, which is really cool. This is one of my favorite games of all time, as you guys know. Borderlands. Borderlands is getting a lot of love right now. They just casted Kevin Hart as Roland. Jack Black is going to be Claptrap, and I think they've gotten one or two other people for Borderlands.
Pedro Pascal is in it again, I think, too. He's in everything now. Right?
Yes. I want to say, I can't think who he is right now. Kate Blanchett is going to be Lilith. I'm going to go and try to see where Pedro Pascal... I'm almost positive he's going to be in this. Maybe not. I don't know.
Something about that. But I want to piggyback off of
that
what
was for Last of Us. That was for Last of Us.
He's in Last of Us.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
another video game movie.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how, like, making a movie and not sticking too closely to the game. I think the problem you run into a lot is that, one, it is kind of hard to just make a super great movie based on a video game. It's not like making a movie based on a book, which we all know movies still struggle with. Sometimes they knock it out of the park. Most of the time they're like, okay, and then some are awful. But at least with the book, you have a story. You have, like, character arcs. You have a beginning, a middle, and end. And with video games, you know, some of them are story-based, some of them are story-driven, where you have a beginning, a middle, and end. And anything that has a character, obviously you have, like, character arcs, even in, like, Halo with Master Chief and stuff like that. But it's a little bit different because it's not a story anymore. It's like this playable world that you can be in. Each, you know, video games are kind of designed for each individual player to have an individual experience. And so it's kind of hard to make a single thing based off of that, especially in the open world games, like when they made the World of Warcraft movie. Even Assassin's Creed, you know, you have a story with that, but it's kind of an open world-ish. You know, you can do things in kind of an order that you want, specific way. It's all up to the individual. And so when you make a game, or when you make a movie based off of a game, you lose that sense of individuality. So I get why it's hard. But I also agree with you that if it is that way and you already don't have that individuality, then focus on making a good movie. Because if you make a good movie, even if it's not, like, perfectly in line with everything that happens in the game, you kind of can't do that already. So make a good movie. Focus on making it a quality movie. And then when you do have that story built in, that's when you can be a little bit closer to that video game story. And I'm not trying to, like, write the code on this is the only way to make a good video game movie. But if you have reference material to work with, use that. If you have a story to build off of, use that. But at the end of the day, it's still got to be a good movie. You still have to have plot. You still have to have character development. You still have to have conflict, climax, resolution, all that stuff. And it can't just be fan service. You can't just copy paste a mission from the game because they're not written to be that way. Video games aren't written to be movies, except maybe like The Last of Us or something. We talked about that in the video game show, but those are so rare. Video games are meant to be this sort of choose your own adventure or build your own story. They're meant to get you connected in, so there's a bit of friction there. So at the end of the day, I think a lot of people, just like you were saying when you're talking about, you know, they focus too much on the video game, and I think that comes from people forgetting that you're also making a movie. Focus on making a good movie. Use that reference material. Do all that stuff. And I don't need to repeat myself for like a fourth time, but just make a good. That's it.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you, and I do feel like that can get lost a lot of times trying to have too much fan service. So, Adam and Mike, there's a lot of different movies being made about video games right now. There's Uncharted, Mortal Kombat, Minecraft. I know, I didn't even know about that until right now. There's a Minecraft movie being made. Yeah, dead serious. Assassin's Creed 2 apparently is getting made. We got Borderlands, Call of Duty, Halo. There's a lot of different movies that are getting some love right now. Duke Nukem might be getting a movie soon. Same for Fallout.
Amazing.
I love Duke Nukem. Now,
I think that movie's been in the works for about like 22 years, though.
Yeah, no, definitely. Can we just have John Cena play Duke Nukem, please? That's all I want. So, with all these different universes, we all do play a lot of different games. Adam, to go ahead and start with you, what would you like to see a movie made? You know, even if you want just more Pokemon movies, that's fine. It could be Pokemon, League of Legends, Fallout. What universe do you want to see a movie be made? It could be in the works right now, or maybe it's not even a thought.
Oh man, that's tough. You know, if I had like a lot of time to like actually think about it, look through like games that I've played in the past, but on the spot, the only thing that like immediately comes to mind, a Fallout movie.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool, but otherwise, like, I'm sure there'd be better options, but again, right off the top of my head, I can't get anything else right now.
No, I mean, Fallout is a really good choice. That it's an extremely large universe. I mean, it's literally just the United States in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
And then you just put in, like, again, the NCR, the Brotherhood, all those different, like, the Legion. There's so many different things you could do with it. And make it unique where it doesn't just feel like a post-apocalyptic movie, but it feels like a Fallout movie. And that's kind of the tough part between war movies and other, like, post-apocalyptic stuff, because what can you do to make it feel different? Just keep the lore the same. I think it's a great choice. Mike, I feel like I know what you're going to say, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, I've actually been thinking about this for a while, like more of like a not serious kind of movie, TV show, whatever you want to do, but like I would love like a little mini series of Rocket League. That'd be hilarious.
The funny thing is, oh my god, the funny thing is I thought you were going to say Kingdom Hearts, but then in the back of my head I was like, it'd be hilarious if he says Rocket League right now.
Oh, there's already a show being made with Kingdom Hearts. I think Disney Plus is going to pick it up.
Oh, that would be really cool. But I mean, something like, I don't know if I'd want it like a Cars universe kind of thing, like an animated thing. It's actually like real like car people, or if I'd like to have it be like a super realistic, competitive, like a sports movie. Yeah, like Tron, like a sports movie mixed with Tron. Exactly. That would be actually kind of interesting. Both not bad choices. Alex, what universe, or do you want to see another universe maybe expanded more with video game movies?
Oh, if I have a super specific movie or game, I've had a couple rolling through my head now, but I would love to see like two different types. I would love to see successful versions of like the two extremes you can go in, where, you know, we've been talking about this the whole episode, where you have one where it's just like they stick to the lore, but it's kind of its own thing. If you have one of those open world, like a Fallout, or, you know, pick your Red Dead or Grand Theft Auto, whatever it is, where you have this huge open world, this huge open concept, and then just an overlying theme to it. I would love to see them do that really well, where it almost doesn't feel like a video game movie, but if you've played the video game, you get all of those references, where it's like sort of maybe like a Book of Eli feel, but everything is themed to the movie, and so, you know, it's not super hardcore gamer, but you get it. And I would love to see that done really well. And then I would love to see the exact opposite, where someone has something that is very specific, a very story-driven game, or just something where you're basically just adding on to the game, but in movie form. And I don't know, kind of like what Super Mario Bros. Failed to do and what Tomb Raider failed to do. And I like the first, like the original Tomb Raider, but that doesn't feel like the game. I would love to see something that just feels like an extension of the game, but done really, really well. Like someone does a, I don't know, like a Punch-Out movie, and it doesn't just feel like Rocky. It's Punch-Out. Or someone picks like, Jesus, I don't know, if they did like Animal Crossing is big right now, or Stardew Valley, something like that, but it's so like you're lost in the world. The movie almost takes place in the world of that movie. I'd love to see both of those versions done successfully.
Yeah. No, it would be really cool to kind of see how they could potentially get a movie kind of like lost in the immersion of that universe, because there's plenty of like different universes out there. I mean, as dumb as it would be, Minecraft might be a perfect world to do it with, because there's just so much to do in that kind of world. But yeah, no, I totally understandable.
We got Pokemon Snap coming out. Let's see a Pokemon Snap movie instead of another Pokemon movie. Detective Pikachu 2, Pokemon Snap 1. What about you, Brandon?
Before I give mine, I just want to go ahead and say one for Adam real quick that might, like, I know we didn't give anyone a whole lot of time to really think about it, but I think for Adam, a Dead Space movie would be really cool. I know you love horror.
Yeah.
So
it
just
Dead Space.
It just hit me for that one.
That's smart.
Yeah. For myself, personally, a Borderlands movie is all I want. It is in the works. It's being made. The cast is all almost together. So that's really my big one that I'm really hoping for right now. I would love to also see something with the League of Legends universe, because again, huge universe, 150 plus characters. There's lore to all the characters. There's so much they could do with it. I think I'd rather probably see a TV show with that, just because there is so much. I would want constant content of like 20 episodes a year rather than just a hour and a half, 2 hour long movie. So something in that area would be really cool. But Borderlands, that's the video game movie I'm looking forward to more than anything right now.
That's going to be a big one. I think that could be a make or break. We could see video games or video game movies as an industry boom like Marvel or bust like DC with the next few that are coming out. Because if Free Guy just rocks and Borderlands knocks it out of the park, and then a Last of Us movie comes out and it's amazing, or if, you know, half these movies that we talked about that are in the works come out and they're really good, then that could like jumpstart all of these video game movies. But if only like one of them is halfway decent, I think it could tank video game movies again, even though, you know, the whole video game industry is just exploding right now. I think Hollywood might back off if these next few just bomb.
I do agree with you, and it is kind of scary with the next one that could be happening, because of the track record has been a little rough for them. Did you guys know that Mortal Kombat comes out in 2 months to tomorrow?
I didn't know it was that like recent, or that soon. But okay.
I'm excited. I want it to be good so bad, because it's a great universe.
Oh, I mean, it'll be good because all of them have been good.
I think you might need thicker glasses, bud, because I don't know what you were watching.
Hey, buddy, Mortal Kombat #1 is number 6 on Rotten Tomatoes list.
Yeah, where's Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Listen, the other one might be second to last.
2%.
But if you add that 2% plus the 48%, that's 50%. That's higher than some of these.
That's still a rotten movie. They're not good.
We're gonna feel.
I'll give it to you. Some of them are fun, though. Some of them are fun. Some moments are fun, but yikes!
Look, their CGI wasn't great, but nowadays it's really hard to be bad, right? So like, they're really gonna kill it.
Yeah, I'm hoping, man. There is a lot of promise for the Mortal Kombat movie coming up, but I think that is the next.
Said about the new Tomb Raider.
Yeah, But yeah, fingers crossed. We'll definitely have to keep our eyes on all the different video game movies coming up. Again, Free Guy is not like a video game movie, but it's about video game culture and just like pop culture stuff, like Ready Player One was. So that's going to be a lot of fun seeing what Ryan Reynolds can do from there. Detective Pikachu 2 is supposed to be happening eventually, and just to kind of yes.
Sorry, no, I was just gonna say, and with Detective Pikachu 2, there's also Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is coming out, and they've already confirmed Tails is going to be in it. Knuckles is probably going to be in it. I sent it to you. I forgot who they offered the role. Was it Jason Momoa, I think, that they offered the role of Knuckles?
Was it Knuckles from, like, Uganda?
That's amazing.
I have no idea.
That stupid meme. It's a meme. It's a stupid meme. That's all he's doing right now.
Knuckles,
I'm not a hedge head or whatever Sonic fans would refer to themselves as, so... But,
I love that.
Sonic 2, Detective Pikachu 2, we got some good ones coming out. Hopefully, Jesus, we know how sequels have just really let us down lately, but let's hope that we can pick it up again and start getting back in the groove of things. Theaters are going to start opening up. Good movies are going to start rolling in. We're going to get back to reality. Then it's going to be 2035, and we'll be like, wow, that took a lot longer than we thought.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's really sad to joke about. But yeah, make sure to let us know in the comments your favorite video game movie, the video game movie you're most excited for, or whatever you want to do, the video game universe you'd like to see expanded out in TV or movies. We'd love to hear from you guys, so thank you so much for that. But yeah, that's been it for us today for all video game potential movies coming out. We do have a very exciting review coming out Saturday for us. We're going to be reviewing Detective Pikachu. Should be the best movie in video games for Rotten Tomatoes, but sadly it's number 2. To go ahead and celebrate the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. Since, of course, Adam and I, that's all we can talk about right now. We thought it would be the perfect time to do it as well. Alex, where can the people find us?
Brandon, I like how you got that one in quick. The people can find us, all of us, at thenerdchambers.com. That's where you'll find all of the content for all of the shows that are made under the Nerd Chamber umbrella. Every Movie Nights episode gets posted there now, as well as on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts from if you're just a listener. You can find everything from Pokemon card openings that you guys do, blurbs about you. You can meet them and, feel a little blurb that we have. Meet the team. Love that. I talk about it all the time, but it's so much fun. You can get everything there. You can get our merch. Funny thing about this one, though, is it got burned in the dryer. These are safe to dry, but not for 3 hours on high on accident, it turns out. Yeah, it just kept going. But now it kind of looks like Thanos snapped and we got caught in it, so I kind of dig it, honestly.
That's awesome.
So I just keep rocking it, and then eventually they'll all fall off, and then I'll just have a shirt. But you can get non-Thanos snapped merch from there, all that stuff. And like I said, if you're watching this YouTube, if you're listening, your podcasting platform of choice. Brandon, tell me I nailed it.
You nailed it.
Yes, I don't even care if you're lying. I just needed that. It's been a long day.
Yeah, I feel that.
Thank you to our guests for joining us. Adam, Mike, anything you want to throw in video game movies or any self-plugs you guys got going on right now?
Not really. Just chilling.
Yeah, no self-plugs. I'm part of the Nerd Chambers, and that's it, so...
That's what's up. You can see Adam there, too. Mike, we hope you feel better, buddy. It's a little sick, we mentioned.
I will be back on the watchathons. Just school's been pretty hectic. I'm almost done, though. Oh,
yeah.
All good, brother. We'll be happy to have you back, though.
Thanks.
Brandon, once again, we have guests. I have no idea where anyone is on your screen, so send us away with the points.
Yes. Alex. Adam.
Hi.
Mike. Wait.
No,
Mike.
False. I'm over here.
Yeah, top right.
No, over here.
All right, so Adam's right there on the screen. That's Alex. That's Mike right there. And this has been TNC Movie Nights again. Thank you so much for swinging by. Bye-bye.